This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, the public's help is needed as police continue to investigate the sexual assault at Ross Creek. Celebration for students as a cap on loans for some subjects is lifted, but they say the issue isn't fully resolved. And a youth expert shares his knowledge on how the media can influence children. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. Police are shedding more light on the sexual assault of a young woman at Ross Creek. Specialist forensic investigators have been examining cordoned-off parts of the Central City Recreation Reserve, and detectives are asking for the public's help in solving the crime.
The scene of a traumatic attack. Police are undertaking a major investigation into the sexual assault of a 23-year-old woman at Ross Creek on Sunday night. A specialist forensics team from Christchurch is combing the area for clues. Local officers have been interviewing the victim and confirm she was attacked by a stranger.
She was sexually assaulted there. I'm not going to go further into the circumstances of that. She's receiving our support at the moment and is obviously traumatised.
The attack happened just after 9 p.m. as it was beginning to get dark and the woman was running. Police don't know how long the offender was in the area before the assault. They're urging people who were at Ross Creek that evening to come forward, especially if they saw someone matching the offender's description.
A male person wearing black clothes, including a black t-shirt, black shoes and black what she calls skins, and there's a compression type clothing.
The woman was attacked from behind, knocked to the ground and tied up. She freed herself after the offender ran away when a dog approached. Police say this kind of incident is rare in Dunedin, with just a handful of similar incidents over the past 2 decades. The case is concerning residents, but officers don't want people to be afraid of using the reserve.
One of the good things with a great recreational area like that is that there are a lot of guardians because a lot of people use it. And whilst we've cordoned the area for a moment for us to do our work, there's no way that we're going to discourage people from using that particular facility.
Police have already received more than a dozen calls from members of the public with information about the case. Nearby residents reportedly heard the woman yelling for help. Investigators say they're following several leads. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
Police are investigating the death of a woman in South Dunedin early this morning. It's believed a member of the public alerted emergency services to a body in Strathallan Street at about 2 a.m. A 51-year-old woman is dead and her family has been notified. Police aren't saying much else about the case other than the death is being treated as unexplained. Tarpaulins are being used to shield the scene from public view and officers are keeping guard. A post-mortem examination is expected to occur tomorrow morning. Police aren't commenting further until that is completed. Medical students are celebrating success in a campaign against a cap on government loans that spanned several years. The Tertiary Minister is lifting a 7-year cap on student loans for some subjects, allowing funds for an extra year. Affected students are pleased but say the battle isn't over.
Studying with less financial stress. Local medical students are happy the government's extending its 7-year student loan program. It means some graduates can access funds for an additional year of study, and that's being celebrated as a victory.
It's been a very long process. They've been doing everything, sort of engaging the students, doing a lot of surveys of the members, talking to politicians, getting people to write letters, doing a lot of stuff with the media, so we've had great support and it's been a fantastic effort.
The University of Otago and its Students' Association have been advocating on behalf of local medical students. They've been working alongside national student representatives to push for change.
A lot of this has come through the New Zealand Medical Students Association. They've done an incredible job and OUSA has supported them over multiple years with this campaign.
An average undergraduate medical degree takes 5 years to complete following an introductory year of study. Under the 7-year loan cap, many graduates were unable to do specialist training because of financial difficulty.
It's a huge relief to myself and to many of my colleagues. I was looking at trying to save up for 2 years of study, which is about $30,000. So it's a massive relief.
Medical student David Neer is also the president of an association supporting Pacific Island students training to be health professionals. He says the government's back down on loans is especially good for those students.
Coming to university, they're already, underprepared for the requirements of, say, a health science first year course. So I guess that underpreparedness in the end makes it harder for our students to gain access into these courses. So we really encourage the graduate pathway for our students to be able to develop their skills.
Students say they want more government support to help people undertaking extensive research, and they'll continue advocating for further loan extensions. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
3 different Chinese delegations are visiting Dunedin this week to further strengthen educational ties. 4 senior delegates from the Shanghai Municipal Education Commission have been touring local secondary schools to firm up more exchanges. They're also meeting with Otago Polytechnic leaders to discuss further collaboration. The Polytechnic is also hosting 2 separate delegations from different Chinese institutions on Friday. Leaders from the Shanghai Institute of Technology and the Shenzhen Polytechnic will be working on agreements with their local counterparts. An international youth expert is in Dunedin giving local researchers an insight into the media's influence on children. The American paediatrician has been taking part in a symposium at the University of Otago, and his knowledge is helping to shape local study.
Talking over the issues. This American academic is sharing his knowledge on youth and the media as part of a 10-day visit to Dunedin.
This is a research talk for a variety of different people about what we know, what we don't know, and what we need to find out in terms of children and media research.
He's been talking about how children are using technology and its effect on them, as well as existing gaps and the need for further study. Professor Strasburger's been highlighting central topics such as violence, sex and drugs. He says children exposed to such material through modern media are predisposed to violent lifestyles.
There's no question that violence, media violence, is the single worst aspect of media, whether it's on TV or movies or videos. Kids learn the idea of justifiable violence. People are desensitized. That's why the amount of violence has gone up and up and up.
Professor Strasburger is a distinguished researcher, having authored 13 books and more than 160 chapters on paediatric literature. While in the city, he's collaborating with local academics.
It's very nice of the university to help sponsor me and a Fulbright fellowship from the United States. I'll be here for another week and a half, and doing a seminar next week with Dr. Hancock's.
This is his second visit to New Zealand, and he's hoping it will help the local effort to better understand youth in today's rapidly changing world. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, we take a look at the Polytechnic's plans to show off its sustainability achievements, and a widespread sporting issue is the focus of a locally held seminar.
Girls Talk this month is full of inspirational gift ideas. There's books, storage solutions and delicious treats. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page to be in to win some fantastic prizes from the show. Join us on Dunedin TV for Girls Talk.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Granddad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf, and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St. Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Granddad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
To the people we meet on southern skies. Take your place, 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 take your place in the world.
Pellet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pellet fires, so easy, so efficient.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices is just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget, we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, your guaranteed a treat.
Chiropractic care is a drug-free way of sorting out stress and pain by getting your spine in line with body and brain. At Mosgiel Chiropractic and Wellbeing, we provide family chiropractic care. Feel taller, lighter and brighter. Call Mosgiel Chiropractic and Wellbeing today, 484-7272.
Congratulations, you're getting married. Hi, I'm James Morris, wedding celebrant, and it's my privilege and a pleasure to bring you the perfect ceremony for your perfect day. Don't wait or contemplate. Your consultation is free with no obligation. jamesmorris.co.nz.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Welcome back. The New Zealand dollar fell over 8% in the last quarter, its largest quarterly drop in almost 7 years. It means the merchandise terms of trade is down, with import prices rising more than exports. Prices for imports rose just over 7%, their largest increase in 7 years. Petroleum products led the way, up 13%, but they're still significantly lower than a year ago. The volume of imports and exports both reached new highs in the September quarter. Record import volumes have been set every quarter since June 2013. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. The NZX 50 has closed the day down 7 points. It's now at 6,143. The Dow Jones is up 168 points. And to the exchange rates, the Kiwi dollar is down against all the currencies we follow. Well, over the last 6 years, Otago Polytechnic has been trying to become more sustainable through a range of initiatives. Now staff are demonstrating what they've achieved in a sustainable practice showcase. And Program Manager Steve Henry joins us to talk about it. Good evening, Steve.
Hello.
Looking very summery, I must say. It's a beautiful day out
marvellous,
there.
Isn't it?
Very nice indeed. What's happening as part of the showcase?
Oh, well, we thought it was just time to let everyone know what we're doing, really.
Who are you wanting to be involved?
Well, I mean, anyone can pop down, but primarily it's designed for staff within the institution at the moment because it's a pretty quiet time of year.
Yes.
So it's a time to pop in and celebrate what's been achieved.
What are the major initiatives that you've managed to implement?
Well, I think two things. One is the beginning of implementing sustainable practice into every piece of teaching that gets done. So every qualification. So that's no mean feat. And also things like getting our operations a lot cleaner, getting coal out of the system and using wood chips instead, for example, and heating. So that's reduced our footprint enormously.
How have they changed things on campus?
Well, you know, if anyone's been there recently, there's a major building program going on of making spaces a lot more social and fit for purpose. There's a lot of work going on around energy efficiency and waste minimisation through supply chain management, really looking at where we buy our things from and why, and trying to localise with what we do.
Tell us about the Polytechnic pledge that was made in 2009.
Well, it was a simple pledge. It essentially said, let's do the right thing. And I think most of us are sick of the take, make, waste mentality and buying cheap stuff that ends up in the landfill. And well, can't we do better than that? It's time to get cyclic in the way we do things. So let's build things for disassembly and design things better and just get smarter about how we do things.
Have expectations been reached thus far into the
Oh, I
project?
think it's fair to say they've been exceeded because we've had a lot of international and national attention on what we're doing, and people have asked us for a lot of training. So we've responded with specialist training programs that we run around the country now. And over 100 organisations throughout New Zealand have been through our Adding Sustainable Value program, for example, for organisations. So, yeah, we're very proud of the start we've made. It's going to take a long time, but we're pleased.
Are you ahead of other tertiary institutions in terms of their sustainability?
Well, I think we're interested in measuring ourselves against ourselves ahead of what others are doing, but we are very interested in partnering with others so we can exchange. Rather than saying we're better, they're worse. It's more like, well, they've got something we can learn from and we've got something, but others tell us we're doing very well.
Tell us about some of your plans for the future.
Well, our ideal future looks like we're working with individuals around behaviour change, we're working with organisations around culture change within those organisations, and then looking at system change. So, for example, the food system in Otago, most of our food's imported into here, apart from the local farmers market, for example. So we've just done a big analysis on the farmers market, the first big one in New Zealand to get done, and so we're interested in systemic change, which makes it easier for everybody to participate in things. I mean, there's a lot of change coming with electric vehicles and electronics and technology changing the way we do things. So it's possible to have a lot, to live with a lot lower footprint and a lot better lifestyle, actually, rather than it just being about having less. It's about how can we have more and more effectively.
How are students being encouraged to take a sustainable approach?
Well, through their coursework primarily. I mean, and so we began planning that anyone who turned up on an Otago Polytech program would be exposed to thinking more broadly about the area they're in. But you don't tell the nurses and the occupational therapists and the designers and the engineers. They all have their specialist vocations, and it's asking what does a sustainable practitioner look like in each of those, which is a very good question and one that's taking a while to answer.
Otago Polytechnic Program Manager Steve Henry, thank you very much for your time.
Nice to see you. Thanks.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, academics gathered to discuss doping in sport, and we're on the streets to see how you feel about the expected arrival of 150 Syrian refugees.
From the natural forests of New Zealand, Silverhorn sources active Manuka honey, a rich source of trace elements, vitamins, minerals and amino acids to naturally support your health, well-being and an active lifestyle. Buy one 250-gram pot for $34.90 and get a second pot for half price. Silverhorn Manuka honey. Call now 0800 502 402 or order online at silverhorn.co.nz.
Here's something else to look forward to sinking your teeth into every weekend with the Otago Daily Times, the Weekend Mix, your guide to what's hot in fashion, entertainment, food and more. New weekend magazine in your ODT. Pick up your copy this Saturday.
The Good All, it's all about our customer care, great food, great coffee and supported by some awesome staff. We think it's very important that the customers when they come in here have a good experience and leave wanting to come back. And I think in a nutshell, that's what the Good All is all about.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices is just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, you're guaranteed a treat.
Mosgiel Mowers Plus can help you with products to make your garden maintenance jobs easier. Lawn mowers, ride-ons, chainsaws, line trimmers. Sales and service are our specialty. Mosgiel Mowers Plus. Phone 489 3572 22B Gordon Road, Mosgiel.
Mobility Scooters Otago. Mobility scooters, new and used, electric manual wheelchairs, strollers and walkers. Free home demonstration and delivery. Call Tony on 03 455 2875 or visit our showroom, 211 Kinneedwood Street, opposite Westpac.
I understand now how economics can affect global warming.
And I found out how grass growth in New Zealand affects Fashion Week in Milan.
I can even tell you how smartphone technology affects the survival of mountain gorillas.
Sorry.
Because at the Otago Business School, it's not just about the world of business, it's how business affects the world.
I'm Kim. Michaela.
David. And this is our place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
Mobility Scooters Otago. Mobility scooters, new and used, electric manual wheelchairs, strollers and walkers. Free home demonstration and delivery. Call Tony on 03 455 2875 or visit our showroom, 211 King Edward Street, opposite Westpac.
Hedges are something we almost take for granted. A good hedge needs regular maintenance to look its best and to add value and character to your property. For all your hedge care needs, call the team at SGC Services on 0800 783 453.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Welcome back. Police are investigating 3 burglaries from the last couple of days. A locked home in Bathgate Street, South Dunedin was broken into and 2 gaming consoles were stolen, as well as clothing and a laptop. Electronics including an Xbox and a 42-inch television were also taken from a Delmore property. In another incident, the New Zealand flag was stolen from outside the Adams Flags store in Crawford Street. Police believe that case may be linked to the weekend theft of 5 alternative flags from a Central City parking building. Local and visiting academics have been gathering in Dunedin to discuss drug use in high-performance sport. They've been taking part in a day-long seminar at the University of Otago, and they're aiming to resolve a widespread issue.
Tackling a sporting problem. This researcher is putting his case to fellow experts as part of a sport doping symposium. It's been organised by staff at the University of Otago in an effort to help eradicate illegal drug use among athletes.
We have a doping in sports symposium going on where I've brought together people that are actively involved in trying to stop doping in sports, and we're discussing the latest methods that are being used to try and detect agents that are being used in sports doping.
Academics each presented a speech on their field of study in relation to drug use in sport. Topics included designer steroids, sports supplements and pressure on athletes. Scholars say the problem exists in New Zealand and they're hoping to fight it with the help of this event.
New Zealand, like any country around the world, has people that participate in sports doping, and we're hoping by having a symposium such as we are having today to identify ways in which we can eradicate it from New Zealand but also all countries around the world.
The talk boasted insight from an international specialist. Professor David Handelsman is a University of Sydney lecturer and the head of the Anzac Research Institute. He discussed performance-enhancing hormones and the anti-doping agency's detection and deterrent methods. He says detection work is progressing, but gaps remain.
There's still more work that needs to be done, particularly with the peptide hormones like EPO and other peptides that are used, because the detection for those still needs a little improvement. It exists, there are methods that exist, but they need to be extended so they can detect longer periods of time since the time they were used.
Professors hope by getting specialists from around the country and overseas involved, they can help to bring fairness to the playing field. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
The government is planning to build a refugee resettlement centre in Dunedin. About 150 Syrian asylum seekers are expected to arrive in the city next year. With that in mind, our Word on the Street team asked members of the public if they're happy about refugees being resettled in Dunedin.
Well, because they've had such hardships overseas, and as you probably guessed by my accent, I'm also an immigrant. And I came to Dunedin 50 years ago, and it's one of the best places in the world. So my heart goes out to these refugees.
I think everybody deserves a fair go, so maybe a few, yes.
I think a refugee will love Dunedin because Dunedin is a great place to live, to start a new life. I'm not from here, I'm from Chile, so for me it's been great to have a new life in New Zealand, actually in Dunedin. And the people is really, really friendly, and this is a small town, so it's easy to manage the town in a couple of weeks.
I think it would just put a lot of extra pressure on the people living here and just the environments that they'd have to live in, if you get what I mean.
I think that they should be able to come here.
And why is that?
Because I don't think that they're like the issue. I think that saying that the refugees are the problem is the problem.
Providing they're all screened, we don't want anyone from Syria in here. Yeah, no, I suppose it'd be a good idea if we can get the city. Yeah, get jobs for them.
I don't mind them coming, provided there's no problem with them sort of coming under false pretences.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. The sexual assault of a young woman at Ross Creek has police calling for help from the public and trying to identify the male offender. Medical students are celebrating victory over the government, which is lifting its 7-year cap on student loans for some subjects. And an American youth expert has been giving advice to local researchers about the influence that modern media has on children. Well, it's time now to find out what's going to be in Thursday's Otago Daily Times, and Phil Somerville joins us. Good evening.
Yes, hi Rebecca. A strong lineup as you'd expect. Story from Chris Morris, a council report about morale at the Dunedin City Council. There's been a lot of restructurings and a lot of things going on, so won't take too much to work out what direction that's been heading in. Cycling statistics, the DCC have been checking on them and what's happened with the cycleways, and so look in tomorrow's paper to see if they're up or down. Dogs, of course, are in the news, that terrible case yesterday morning in Mornington, and we've interviewed a dog trainer who warns us that any dog, from a Chihuahua to an Irish Wolfhound, can be dangerous, and he gives lots of advice, and we look at that issue. And on the sporting front, next week we've got, it's come in a bit of a rush, the cricket test against Sri Lanka, and we've talked to the groundsman preparing the pitch and how things are going and what we can look forward to.
And all that, plus more in tomorrow's ODT. Thank you, Phil. Time now for local weather.
This weather update is proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorn's Puff Plus.
And here is today's city view. It's taken of daisies in the grass. Around the city at 3 o'clock today, quite pleasant. 26 for the central city, 29 at the gardens, 28 out on the Tyree. To the situation, and a cold front will weaken as it moves across the country tomorrow. A more active trough of low pressure will move in at the weekend. To the forecast for some of the main towns in the lower South Island for tomorrow. Southwest is easing with rain clearing for Invercargill, Gore and Te Anau. A southwest changes on the cards for Alexandra with rain and highs of between 15 and 19 degrees. A southwest change will bring some rain to Queenstown and Oamaru. Nor'westers for Wanaka and Twizel, both expecting rain and a high of 21 apiece. In Dunedin tonight, high cloud and gusty nor'westers. 16 degrees is tonight's low. Rain developing in the morning tomorrow with gusty nor'westers easing. Colder sou'westers will develop in the afternoon with rain, which will ease to showers. They'll clear by evening. 19 degrees. And to the tidal and fishing information courtesy of Otago Pallet Fires. High tide tomorrow morning is at 11:45. And fishing conditions look good, especially at 7:15 tomorrow morning. And that's news for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.